I lost my marriage in front of my coworkers.
The moment I saw my husband's face, I knew there was no way back. It wasn't anger, it wasn't shouting or tears. It was something far worse. His eyes were empty, distant, as if a door inside him had closed forever. In that instant, standing frozen while he watched me with another man, I understood that I had destroyed something that could never be repaired. My name is Claire, and until that night I believed I had a good life. My husband Daniel and I had been together for 15 years, married for 12. We met when we were young, built careers side by side, and created a life that looked solid from the outside. He was dependable, loyal, and steady. I never doubted his commitment to me, not once. But comfort can quietly turn into complacency if you let it. Our days had begun to blur together. Wake up, work, dinner, television, sleep. There was no fighting, no drama, just a dull predictability that I told myself was normal. I didn't realize how much I was craving excitement until I felt it again for the first time in years. The night everything fell apart was at a celebration for an old friend. It was a lively event, full of people from my past, laughter, music, and nostalgia. I dressed differently than usual, wanting to feel noticed, wanting to feel alive. Daniel complimented me before we left, smiling in a way that reminded me of who we used to be. I should have held on to that moment. I didn't. At the party, I ran into someone I hadn't seen in years. A man I once had feelings for before Daniel came into my life. Seeing him stirred memories I had buried, carefree days. Emotional intensity, the thrill of being desired without responsibility. We talked, laughed, and crossed lines I should never have approached. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself it was just conversation. Deep down, I knew better. Later that night, away from the crowd, he kissed me. For a split second, I froze. Then I kissed him back. That was the moment Daniel saw us. He didn't yell. He didn't demand explanations. He simply turned and walked away, leaving me standing there with my entire world collapsing around me. I chased after him, called his name, begged him to stop, but he was already gone. When I got home, he was sitting at the kitchen table, a glass in front of him, staring into nothing. I poured out apologies, calling it a mistake, a moment of weakness, something meaningless. I said all the things people say when they want forgiveness without truly understanding the damage they've done. He listened in silence. The days that followed were unbearable. Daniel barely spoke to me. He left early, came home late, and avoided being in the same room. Every attempt I made to talk was met with quiet distance. His silence was louder than any argument could have been. A week later, I came home to find papers laid neatly on the table. Divorce papers. My legs felt weak as I sat down across from him. He told me calmly that he couldn't live with doubt, that trust was the foundation of everything, and once it was broken, there was nothing solid left to stand on. I begged, I promised therapy, transparency, change. I swore it would never happen again. He didn't accuse me, he didn't insult me. He simply said that he no longer recognized the woman he had married. That hurt more than anger ever could. The divorce was quiet and efficient. No screaming, no public scenes, just signatures and finality. Watching him walk out of my life with dignity made the consequences of my actions painfully real. After he left, the silence became my punishment. Every room echoed with reminders of him, his coffee mug, his jacket. The routines we once shared now felt like ghosts haunting my daily life. Friends tried to comfort me, some even saying he should have forgiven me. They didn't understand. I did. I had betrayed not just my husband, but the version of myself I believed I was. I started therapy, not to fix the marriage, because that was impossible, but to understand why. I had been willing to risk everything for a fleeting moment. I learned that I had been chasing validation, afraid of confronting the emptiness I felt inside. Instead of communicating, I escaped. Instead of appreciating what I had, I tested its limits. Months passed. Slowly, painfully, I began rebuilding myself. I learned to sit with guilt instead of running from it. I learned that regret isn't meant to destroy you, but to teach you responsibility. I ran into Daniel once, unexpectedly. He looked different, calmer, lighter. He told me he was doing well, that he had moved on. I told him I was happy for him, and for the first time, I meant it. Losing him was the consequence of my choice. And I accepted that. What I learned is simple but brutal. Love isn't just about passion or excitement. It's about choosing your partner every day, especially when routine makes it easy to forget their value. One moment of weakness can undo years of trust, and apologies don't erase consequences. I don't tell this story to excuse myself. I tell it because I know how easy it is to underestimate the cost of a single decision. I lost a good man, a stable life, and a future that could have been beautiful, all because I confused momentary excitement with happiness. And that lesson will stay with me for the rest of my life. Thanks for listening. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments. And please remember to subscribe for more stories like this.